smile may take away my sorrow. Maybe it's inside the bottle. Maybe it's inside the bottle. I had some good old buddies, names is whiskey and wine. Hey, hey. And for my good old buddies, I spend my last dime. Hey, hey. Now wine is good to me. You help me pass the time. And my good old buddy whiskey keep me warm in the sunshine. Hey, hey. Your mama may have blessed the child that's got his own. Hey, hey. If God has plans for me, I hope it ain't written in stone. Hey, hey. Because I've been working myself down to the bone. And I swear on Grandpa's grave, I'll be paid when I come home. Hey, hey. Well,
Hello, Delaware. How are you? I'm Rashmi Rangan, and I'm going to spend the next hour talking about 4 of our many programs. 4 of them are direct services that we offer to our community, and our community is the state of Delaware. And all our services are absolutely free. The only cost to you is certainly your time. So where do I start? Well, I was thinking when I was driving up here that maybe I have to go back and talk to you about our credit clinic and tell you 2 of my favorite stories. So, first let me tell you about our credit clinic. Our credit clinic is primarily focused on helping our community get a handle over their finances. So it's about basic budgeting, it's about a review of bank statements, it's about a review of credit report, credit score, bills, income, budget, and a document that's called Truth in Lending, so that everyone we touch understands what that document means in plain, simple English. So that's what the credit clinic's overall purpose is within DCREG. And it's to prepare smart borrowers of any kind of money, be it an automobile, a mortgage, student loans, or just any loans, credit cards, etc. So, leading our credit clinic is Joe Gross. Some of the programs within our credit clinic are about Borrow Smart series, which is always offered on the first Monday of every month from 5:30 to 8:30. But sometimes first Monday is a federal holiday, and when that happens, then the same program is offered on the second Monday from 5:30 to 8:30. Again, it is free. The location where we offer this program is 603 North Church Street. It's in Wilmington, and just to give you bearing, it's right across from Old Sweets Church, and that is the building within which our Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union is housed. It is a row home. After you attend the 3 hours of in-person training, there are 3 online trainings that you must do at your own convenience. For those who are not comfortable with technology, you can schedule with our credit clinic director, Joe Gross, and he can set up all the emails, accounts, so that you can complete your online course in-house. After you've done all of that, then one-on-one is scheduled where you are asked to bring your bank statements, your bills, your credit score, your credit report, and anything else that will help us sit down with you and look at where you are. Where is money coming from? How frequently? Where is money going out? How frequently? is there a match between inflow of money and outflow of money? Or if there isn't a match, then how can we make that match so that it works for you? Sometimes it's all about just figuring out when the bills should get paid, because in most budgets, and maybe in your budget too, I don't know unless I've seen it, sometimes in most budgets, just by planning when bills get paid, could save hundreds of dollars over a 12-month period, because then you avoid late payment fees. Once all of that is done, then we, based on now, you know with a one-on-one with us exactly where you are. You can then figure where you want to be, because you can't have a goal without knowing what is accomplishable. So if your goal is to save, then we work with you towards your saving goal. If your goal is to build credit, then we work with you to build credit. In all of this, your goal, attaining your goal, we are your partner. You're going to do the hard work. We are there to just guide you and make sure that if you kind of go off tracks, to gently bring you back on course and remind you why you've set your goal that you've set. Parallel to this one-on-one, we also have so much on Facebook. So on Facebook, of course, find me, Rashmi Rangan, friend me. We have a Decrack page where information is posted regularly. We have a 52-week savings challenge page where every week I post an assignment. Then we have a 723 credit score page where again every week I'm posting an assignment. So if you want to do it entirely on your own, you are free to do this all by yourself. And you can. It's easy. The most important thing in money management is, or in our credit clinic, is to get every Delawarean to get to saving every week, making saving a habit, whether it is a penny a week or the 52-week savings challenge, so that at the end of the year it is $1,378 that you've saved, or just $1 a week, as long as you get in the habit of savings, because emergency never ever warns you and says, you know what, November 8th, I'm gonna come knocking on your door. It is when that emergency comes that everything, all our plans about money go awry, right? So planning for that emergency and making savings a habit is possibly the ABC, the foundation of super smart wealth building activities. So get in the habit of savings. Save whatever you can, as frequently as you can, daily, weekly, monthly, but save, save, save. Credit is incredibly important, again, to manage money as well as to build wealth. So managing money, if you know how to use credit wisely, you're basically borrowing at 0% and paying it at 0% when the bill is due. I seldom carry cash with me. I always charge everything to my credit card. When my credit card statement comes, I pay my credit card bill in its entirety, 100%. I do not pay the minimum. I do not pay more than minimum. I pay it in full. Sometimes it pains me to pay it in full because I went over budget. Sometimes paying it in full is easy because it was in my budget. Why do I charge everything to my credit card? Many, many reasons. Reason number one, I get lots and lots of points for using my credit cards, and the points that I get for my credit card are travel points. So in January, I am going to India to visit with my family, and I'm paying only taxes because using that credit card and the points that I earned paid for my airfare round trip to India. Normally it would have been $1,000 and I am paying probably $300 in taxes. So it's a huge saving. Obviously, I'm going to charge my credit card. Second reason I use my credit card is at the end of the month or the year, I can get a sense of where I went over my budget. Because when you get the bill, you know, okay, I spent so much on BJ's, I spent so much at Wawa, I spent so much at Apna Bazaar, I spent so much at Acme, so much at ShopRite. So I get a good sense of where my money is going. So it allows me to plan. And the most important reason really is that my money is with me. So when I charged my credit card, I could have might as well paid cash because I have that money in the bank at the time I pull out my credit card to swipe it. So that money stays with me 30 days. Then I get my credit card bill. It tells me I have 3 weeks to pay it off. So I have kept my money with me, earning me a measly interest rate, but still earning me some interest rate for a little while. And then when my bill is due, it's paid at least 4 or 5 days before it is due, and it's paid in full. So I'm never going to get a late payment fee. I'm never going to get a over the limit fee. I'm basically not going to pay a dime in interest because I'm paying it in full. So those are the reasons I use credit card this way, and I'll always use credit card. It's a smart way to use credit as a tool. Those are things that we teach, how to use all the tools that are available to you so that you can take advantage of them and not be disadvantaged by it. A story that you've heard because I've been here since February 1999, right? So one of my favorite stories is about buying this big screen TV, probably 15 years ago, I don't even remember. But my husband came home one day and said, this year Super Bowl Sunday will be at our house in front of this big screen TV. I smiled. In my house, there is a rule that if there is 1-0 too many, I don't get into a fight right away. I sleep over it, and that next morning, I begin nagging. Anyway, next morning happened to be Sunday. I opened all the circulars, and I looked, and I saw, oh my God, big screen TVs were in the $1,500, $1,600 range. So that is a little way too much. So I showed the circular to my husband, and my husband said, okay, not the Super Bowl, but definitely the next Super Bowl. I said, sure, fine. At least now we knew that we had 12 whole months, more than 12 months, 12 whole months to plan, save for the big screen TV. Remember, I said about $1,800 or there. Let's round it up and say $2,000. We looked at our budget, and cheap and proud as I am, I couldn't figure out where else could I save some money. We had said we are going to save $200 a month. So I used to get my nails done. I used to get my hair done. I said, okay, nails and hair, I'm going to go clip, 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 $50 towards the big screen TV. My husband used to eat lunch out every single day, and his budget was $5 a day. So that I said, okay, we can save quite a bit, right? $25 a week, $100 a month. So we have $150 savings easy. He's going to pack his lunch. where can we get 50 additional dollars, because we had set a goal of saving $200 a month. So I tell everyone, track your expenses. So I said, I should walk my talk. So I tracked my expenses. And 1 week later, we had this family meeting, my husband and I sat down and I said, you know what? I know what we are doing wrong. We seem to run to our neighborhood grocery store when we run out of bread, milk, or eggs. And those trips are always unplanned. And because we swipe and never carry cash, we tend to spend more than just for milk, bread, or eggs, whatever the reason for our trip. It's all gonna stop. We are going to go planned and only planned. We run out of eggs, we need one egg, run to my neighbors. I need an egg. Run out of milk, I had a little jar in which I would throw loose change every day. Grab change and go and buy milk, or if shopping day is tomorrow and we need just for our chai in the morning, then go to the Bernie Mall, our neighbor's home. So we figured that, we tried it out for 1 month, and we realized we were saving way more than $50 a month. So our goal was 200. Around that time, ING was aggressively inviting new customers, and they were saying, if you open an account, we will put $25 in your account. So I opened an account for me, my husband, and our daughter, $75 towards the big screen TV. I bank at Artisans Bank, and every payday, we get paid every other week. So we said on the paydays, $100 will go to ING. By the way, I started that 15 years ago, and I continue to this day, money that is going to my ING, now Capital One account, diligently on paydays. I haven't stopped doing that. So, saved. 3 months later, we had $600. Interest rate on a 9-month CD, certificate of deposit, back then was 7.5%. I put my $600 into a 9-month CD. Saved another 3 months, and my tax returns, $400 came in. So 3 months later, I had $600 of my savings and $400 of my return, so $1,000. 6-month CD was about 5% or thereabouts. Put my money in for 6 months. So 3 months later, I put it for 9 months. Why? Because I needed my CD to mature 1 year from the date we began saving, because that was our goal. Then 6 months later, I put my money for 6 months, because I wanted that CD to mature around the same time when my 9-month CD matured. It's called laddering. 3 months later, I had $600 saved, and I looked around and I saw that a 3-month CD and my regular savings account, the interest was the same, so I did not bother opening a CD. So over 12 months, I saved $2,400. It was a struggle, but it was a habit. For 1 year of doing this diligently, 15 years later, I'm still doing it. So I saved $2,400, $400 that I got from my own tax refund check, $2,800, $75 that ING put in, and $125 that I earned in interest. So I had more than $3,000 to go and buy my big screen TV for cash. I go in, and it was the store that is before, it was Best Buy, whatever that location, or thereabouts. There was a store, I can't remember the name. Anyway, so a big screen TV earlier, a year ago, was $2,800, and now it was less than $2,000. I had saved $3,000. I asked, do you have a deal? They said, yes, buy now, pay 1 year later, same as cash. So that means I was borrowing money to buy that TV at 0% if I paid it off within 365 days. Remember, I already had the cash. I took my $3,000 and put it in 1 year CD, earning me 7%. $210 that year I earned on my savings. So when the year was over, I had $3,210. Bought the TV. 1 year later, I paid that TV off. I still had enough money, and I bought myself top of the line laptop way back then. Moral of the story, when it comes to technology, defer your gratification and you will win already. I had plenty of choices when my husband said big screen TV. I didn't have the money. I could have borrowed money and bought it. But then I wouldn't have the smart story to tell you, right? So there are many, many ways you can have your cake and eat it too, if you're willing to wait to eat that cake of yours. I've also shared my story about when I first came to the US and how I learned everything about American finance system. I didn't know. I lived in a cash economy practically, because when I was growing up, my dad would come home on the first of the month and he would bring the stack of cash and give it to my mom. My mom was the money manager, and I saw her. She would skim from the top and put it away. She wouldn't even look. And I'll tell you why. And that's one of the things we teach you: pay yourself first. Then she would pay all the bills, and whatever was remaining, she always divided it into 5 piles. So when I asked her why is she skimming from the top, she said because my dad didn't have any retirement plan, and the skimming from the top was her retirement plan for her and my dad. Good. Pay yourself first. Then I would say, after she's paid off all the bills, why does she divide money into 5 piles? She said for each week. And I would say, but there are generally only 4 weeks in a month. She says, but dividing it 5 ways allows her to put aside that 5th one for planned purchases, such as a refrigerator, which was expensive. In fact, my parents bought that first refrigerator when I was in high school, and boy, I was so excited. I would run to all the guests and ask, do you want some water with ice? How else would they know that we had a refrigerator? So then there are 2 months when there are 5 weeks, but because it was the habit, my mom's habit of spreading the remaining money for food and anything else, clothes for us, we were 4 of us, clothes, shoes, back to school. So the 5th pile was always socked away for the now, and the skimming from the top was socked away for the future. Those were my money management skills that I came to the US with. I did not know banking. I learned it. How to open an account, how to write checks, how to make sure that I didn't put my savings account out of balance, how not to pay those overdraft fees. Those were things I learned. I learned how to use a Mac card. I didn't know how to use a Mac card. I'd never. This was this amazing Mac machine that was like a miracle, like magic. People would stand there and get money out of it. Boy, I wanted to know how to get money out of it so bad. But every time I went into my bank, there would be so many people, but curiosity got the better of me. And I went and one day finally asked, tell me how to use that machine. And when I realized, oh, only if you have money in it can you withdraw, well, that was a little downer. But I learned everything, and I made tons of mistakes along the way. But making mistakes means you were learning. Repeating means you didn't learn. So I made mistakes. I made mistakes about bouncing checks. I went and I cried to my branch manager, could you reverse it? I don't have, I can't afford losing. I think back then it was $15. I couldn't, but they, no, no courtesy waiver of those fees. I realized never, ever, ever am I going to do that. I was desperate to get credit. I mean, I was already in the US at the ripe old age of 28. I'd come here so late. Usually people begin their credit history when they're 18. I had lost 10 years on everyone. So I was desperate. Then again, I made a huge mistake. I signed up, I responded to a phone call, a scam in a way, and I lost $100. In exchange, I got a big fat book with names and addresses of every lender that lent to those who had no credit. Lucky for me, on campus, I was able to get American Express charge card. Again, really lucky. That is why when I see the bill, I pay it in full. Stroke of luck. If I'd gotten a credit card when I started my financial journey here and I saw the minimum payment, that is what I could have really afforded when I first came to the US. Blessings, I got a charge card, full payment, paid in full. If I charged for 1 month, 1 month later, I would have to beg, borrow, and make sure that my bill was paid in full. And again, these things become habits, good habits. So I learned how to operate within the financial system in the United States. And really, it is a wonderful system if you know how to play in that space. If you don't know how to play in that space is where you can get taken advantage of. And our credit clinic is all about teaching you the rules of the playground and how to play in that space so that you avoid fees. So, Joe Gross, Credit Clinic Director, spent 10 months as a public ally intern with us and knows technology, knows his stuff, young, but he knows his stuff. So don't hesitate to reach out to him. jgross@dcrac.org. I'll switch from credit clinic to tax clinic. I am incredibly proud of the fact that in 2003 we did, in spite of I didn't want to, we still went ahead and applied for the grant to become a low-income tax clinic. And I have to give a shout out to Mary DuPont. Mary DuPont, I've known her for ever and ever. She, the first time I met her, she was at the YWCA. Creativity when it comes to money and teaching folk about how to manage money and learning worldwide how money management elsewhere can be brought into our communities. So when she was at YWCA, she started the lending clubs, the savings clubs, and amazing programs. Then when she went to Nehemiah Gateway CDC, she started the EITC campaign, Earned Income Tax Credit campaign, which is still going very, very strong. Now she is with the state of Delaware and launched the Stand By Me program, where you can take advantage of a personal financial coach to help you every step of the way in your financial journey. So you've got tons of resources. At that time, Mary DuPont was running the earned income tax campaign and came across this low income tax clinic program and asked whether I would be interested in applying for it. And thank God I did apply for it, because it fits so beautifully with our focus on assisting, assuring that our low income community has access to good financial products and services. So one would think that if you are low income, why would you be in trouble with Uncle Sam? It's the wealthy out there that get into trouble with Uncle Sam. But the reality is, government doesn't really go after the very wealthy. They go after us, right? So in the low income community, there are gazillion issues that our taxpayers face. One is they might touch their retirement income for an emergency and not do the right filings, or even if they do the right filings, you later on have to prove to Uncle Sam that you filed right. You might have a home-based business. If you have a home-based business, IRS believes, you're basically not being honest and you are taking advantage of that business loophole. Therefore, if you are a home-based business, a small business, chances of your being audited or examined are exponential. When you are audited or examined, then a lot depends upon the attitude of the examiner in allowing or disallowing. Oftentimes, we have found in the audit situations or even exam situations, income and revenue is totally disallowed or allowed. Depends upon the situation. So if it is a item problem, they will disallow income. In business, they will allow all income, disallow every expense, raising your tax bill. And those are situations that come to us sometimes. They don't come to us sometimes. They come to us so late in the game. Sometimes, very rarely do they come to us right on time. But that's one reason they might be in trouble with the IRS. The other big reason we know is the earned income tax credit. So oftentimes it could be that someone stole the child's Social Security. It could be the tax preparer that used the third child that you have to give somebody else that child for tax purposes. It could be a relative that filed the tax returns early and got a refund, earned income credit. You file late and voila, you don't get that credit. So there are any number of reasons why our low income taxpayers run afoul with the IRS. Some things that when we intervene, we can do for you, the taxpayer, is if your financial situation is such that you can barely make ends meet, we tell the IRS to place you in not collectible status. When you are in not collectible status, interest is accruing, interest and penalties are accruing. Fine. Soon, statute of limitations will get the debt expired. So even if these accrued, unless your financial situation changed amazingly, that you could now afford to pay, you will stay in CNC, currently not collectible. If you can afford an installment agreement, then we enter into an installment agreement. If you can settle the case by say, okay, I know I owe you $10,000, how about you take $1,000 and let's call it quit? That too is something that IRS is willing to work with. So if you owe the tax bill, and here are your three options to deal with IRS. And if none of those options are there, IRS is totally wrong and refuses to accept its errors, and it does sometimes, then our tax director, Anthony Doring, can go with you, represent you as an attorney all the way to tax court. So, right from just a power of attorney, a phone call, or a letter, and some forms to the IRS, to all the way to tax court, you have access to a professional at no cost to you at all. So, if you are in trouble with IRS, I see that you have no excuse not to take advantage of an absolutely free service from someone that I hope by now, after all these years, you would trust us. So you have assistance available. You have absolutely no excuse whatsoever. So Anthony Doring, ADOHRING at dcrac.org. Reach him and he will connect with you, schedule an appointment, and figure out what your tax problem is and what the resolution is. So that's our tax clinic. Then we have a housing clinic. And in the housing clinic, I'm going to start with pre-purchase. Then I'm going to talk a little about title program. And finally, I'm going to talk about foreclosure prevention. So the pre-purchase or first-time home buyer program, really, we bring you into that space only after Joe Gross has worked with you and got your savings act together and your credit act together. So when you have a decent saving and you have a decent credit score, that is when you really begin working with Lillian Harrison, our housing director. Basically, it's the whole process in First Time Homebuyer program. All the programs that are available, what the income limits are, the tax credit program that state of Delaware offers. You could, if you income qualify, you could conceivably be getting a state of Delaware refund check for the next 15 years of about $2,000 a year. That's $30,000. So there is a tax credit, awesome tax credit that the state of Delaware has and not many people use. Then there are some other first-time homebuyer mortgage programs, understanding an FHA, conventional VA, farmers home loan program, all those programs. That's what our housing director would explain to you. Down payment and settlement help programs. We have the Newcastle County Settlement Help Program. We have the state's Settlement Help Program. So explaining what those programs are and what kind of relief you get from utilizing those programs. Understanding what the sales agreement is all about, how to negotiate that, when to get the home inspection, what is the home inspection, what is pre-approval, what is required to make a mortgage application, understanding what the principal payment is, what the interest payment is, taxes, insurance, understanding the truth in lending disclosure, the most important document, understanding the good faith estimate that you're given as soon as you go into a lender, understanding all the documents that you will be signing at closing, so that when you do go into home ownership, you go into it with your eyes wide open. You know the consequences of every action that you've taken over the course of becoming a homeowner. That is what the First Time Homebuyer program is all about. Education, information, helping you make the right choices and not the wrong choices. For example, some of these rules of thumbs have always been that if you are looking to become a homeowner, you should work towards making sure that you have 5% of the sale price saved in some way, shape, or form. 5% of the sale price saved. It could be a gift, but I prefer that you go to closing with 5% of the sale price somewhere easily accessible. I also have always said, back in 99, in 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, throughout, look at what your gross annual income is. If it is, say, $30,000, there is no way you can borrow more than $90,000 unless we are talking about a 0% interest rate. So 90,000 max, 3 times your gross annual income. My rule of thumb is 2.5, but I can stretch it in this interest rate environment to 3 times. 3 times your gross annual income is your capacity to borrow, period. If your income is 30,000 and you want to buy a $180,000 home and there is a lender willing to do that, something is totally not right. We want to see the papers. So that's the pre-purchase counseling piece. By the way, in our pre-purchase counseling, if you've already signed the contract to buy a house and you never came to us before that, we are going to refer you out. We are not going to work with you because you've already entered into a legally binding document, legally binding contract. Getting out of it, you're going to lose money, and we don't want to get you into a home that we believe is absolutely unaffordable, not sustainable, that will definitely see you within the next 2 years as our foreclosure prevention client. We don't want to find ourselves in that stage. So if you come to us and we say, no, sorry, we are not going to take care of your problem, go somewhere else. There are lots of housing counseling agencies in the state of Delaware. So that you know, we'll only see you at the start of the process, not after you've already injured yourself. Title program. There are 2 categories of folk that we want to reach to. One is homeowners who need emergency assistance with their home. Maybe roof caved in, maybe the HVAC system is gone, maybe there are things that they need to do to bring that home to code compliance, but there is no deed in the homeowner's name. Maybe it's mom's, great-grandma's, the deed is in somebody else's name. Until the deed is in your name, you cannot get access to some emergency shelter dollars. So we will provide you that legal service to get deed into your name. The other category of homeowners need title assistance in foreclosure prevention. Maybe mom passed away, and for the last 3 years you are making the mortgage payments, and now you are not able to make mortgage payments, and you're scared that if you pick up the phone and call the lender will take your home away. You would definitely need to get deed in your name. And again, our title project, our attorney Jacqueline Quinn will be able to assist you in that instance as well. Sometimes our foreclosure prevention clients also need tax clinic assistance. And they need tax clinic assistance because there is a tax lien placed on the property, and the mortgage lender will not modify your loan until that tax lien is subordinated. So, regardless of whether we are working with you in foreclosure prevention space or you're working with someone else in that foreclosure prevention space, if you need the IRS tax lien subordinated, visit with Anthony Doring. You will not become a foreclosure prevention client, but you can use tax clinic services to have your lien subordinated. Without that lien subordination, your mortgage lender is not going to modify your mortgage, period. So utilize services that we are offering you. Now we come to foreclosure prevention. In the foreclosure prevention space, there are two options for you. You're about to lose your home. You can either walk away from your home or try and modify your home. If you decide to walk away because things look very bleak, there is no chance of making that mortgage payment. You run a business, the business is gone, you had an income, there is no income now, no likelihood of income. The social security that you receive is so low that modification is not an option. You're looking, you've been looking for a job for the last 3 years and there isn't one on the horizon, but there's no stream of money coming in against which a modification can be presented. In those instances, you choose to walk away. And walk away has so many options: short sale, sheriff sale, deed in lieu, and figuring out what is the right choice that you should make would be something a foreclosure prevention, Lillian Harrison, could work with you. If you want to keep that home and look to modify the home, here are the requirements. There has to be a steady stream of income. If you have no income, no paycheck that you can provide, no paycheck, no fixed income, no profit and loss statement, if there's nothing that you can provide as documentation, your file with us will just stay put. Don't expect us to contact you, because on day one we'll tell you this file cannot move forward until there is a stream of income. So once there is a stream of income, then we can work on the modification. Meanwhile, you, as the homeowner at risk of losing your home, need to make sure your budget is good, your credit is not any worse off, so you don't have other dings, at least all your other bills you're paying on time, and you're saving that mortgage payment. You're saving that mortgage payment. Obviously, if there is no income, there is no ability to save that mortgage payment. But if you have an income and the lender isn't working with you every month, if you're not saving that mortgage payment, 6 months from now, if you blew that mortgage payment on the big screen TV, cruises, etc., you're basically telling your lender, I'm not interested in the home. So work, if you really want to prove that you want to keep that home and maintain it sustainable during the time that the lender is not accepting your payment, put that money in a separate bank account and save it, because you never know when the lender might come back and say, you know what, yep, I'm going to offer a 2% fixed rate for the next 40 years, reduce the principal as long as X dollars, $8,000 come to us by Tuesday. And by the way, we've gotten those deals. So save. Be responsible with your money. So I talked to you and Lillian Harrison. You might guess LHARRISON at dcrac.org. And Jacqueline Quinn is JQUINN at dcrac.org. Jacqueline around title project, and Lillian Harrison for foreclosure prevention. Internally, if you're a first-time home buyer, you work through Joe Gross, and Joe Gross refers you to Jacqueline or Lillian based on whether you're in Newcastle or Kent or Sussex County. Okay, now I come to our Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union. In 2011, in all of the United States of America, there was only one credit union that was chartered by the National Credit Union Administration, and it was called Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union, located at 603 North Church Street, right across from Old Sweets Church. The very fact that in 2011, the year we are still in a financial crisis, that a regulator says, yes, it's okay, we'll bless a credit union to be formed, is something that we should be incredibly proud of. When I say we, I mean you and I together, not just me. It was an amazing gift that we got for our community. And our community is really looking at this gift horse in its face. We have, over the years, only 400 some members. Yes, right now, we don't have too much value for you other than loans. So we do have secured, unsecured, and a utility loan, 3 loan programs, for which you need to be a member for 15 days before you can apply for a loan. And loans, it's after all members' money that we lend you. So you can't be absolutely blasé about, I don't care about, I owe these people, I owe those people, I'm not going to pay anyone. If that is your attitude, it is going to be reflected in your credit report. And if it is reflected in your credit report, then we can't risk our members' money in making the loan to our borrowers. So that we do look very carefully at your loan application. We work very hard to say yes, but there are occasions when we simply cannot say yes. Other value that we offer to you, you know that transacting with money is very expensive. If you're cashing a check, it is expensive, right? So we, as a financial institution to you, offer a savings share account where minimum deposit is $5. No other financial institution, I believe, offers a minimum $5 account. So if that works for you, and I think it should, I would invite you to becoming a member of Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union. Yes, we are still working towards direct deposit and ATM access, but we are closer to it than we were, say, last month. There are many agencies that need to talk together, the Federal Reserve, the Mid-Atlantic Corporate Federal Credit Union, our credit union, of course, our banks, our data processor, they all need to talk together. Once they all talk together, then we make the next move. But we are closer to it. Regardless, at the moment, it is a financial institution. It's open 5 days a week, on Monday 3 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 11:30 to 2:30, and Friday 3 to 6. $5 gets you in. We hope you take advantage of the credit union offering. You are an owner. You get a say in serving on the credit union board, making decisions about the credit union if you are a member. Certainly borrowing from the credit union too. So if you are interested, I sincerely hope you will come to 603 North Church Street. Credit Union Manager is Maricela Tovar Rangel, MTOVAR at dcrac.org, and we would love it if you became a member of Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union. By the way, come in and get to know us. Even if you don't want any of our services, come meet with us, and as you take advantage of our services, if you have anything that you would like to volunteer with us, we would take that opportunity and rope you in to volunteer with us. So thank you so much in advance for being a partner. We are in this together. If we work together, we certainly can take charge of our own financial destiny. We are here for you. We are not going anywhere. We've been here for 29 years, and God willing, we will be here for the next 29. So I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.